Chapter 1583, 1583 Chapter 1583 Fallen Saint Evil Spirits Guardian Kings were all Emperor-ranked powerhouses. There was actually a Guardian King here? At this moment, Shakyamuni Devourer condensed his body again, and his palm pierced out like a knife. The saint of the Tianshan sect was so shocked that he forgot to retreat. His heart was pierced by Shakyamuni's palm. The terrifying soul-devouring force was crazily devouring the blood of the saint. No, the Tianshan sect saint struggled madly, but it was useless. The terrifying power of Discipline King Shirling poured into his body and exploded. His saint heart was shattered. The Heaven God sect's saint was dead. A saint was killed just like that, and it was only because Discipline King's spirit devouring had been sealed for many years and his strength had been greatly reduced. Otherwise, an emperor-level expert could kill a saint of the Tianshan sect with a snap of his fingers. Go, quickly go. The other party is Evil Spirit's Discipline King, a great emperor expert. At the scene, everyone was panicking and running away from the windy plains in a frenzy. As for Shakyamuni Shirling, he had absorbed the blood of a saint. His body was covered in bloodlight, and his aura was much stronger. The blood of a saint is indeed wonderful. There's still a lot of it here. Shakyamuni's spirit devouring looked up into the sky, where there were still more than a dozen saints. Buzz! Shakyamuni's spirit devouring stepped into the air and ascended. The dozen saints' pupils contracted. Just now, the saint of the Tianshan sect had been killed, and he had shouted loudly. They had naturally heard and seen it. Now that Shakyamuni Shirling was walking over, they were all shocked. Everyone, the other party is a great emperor expert. Even though he has been sealed for many years, he is still terrifying. We'd better join forces. A saint from the Yudu sect was the first to speak. All right, I agree. I also agree. They could only join forces against Shakyamuni's spirit devourer. Otherwise, they would die. Bzz. At this moment, the ancient phoenix mirror let out a loud cry. It shone brightly and seemed to have turned into a phoenix, breaking out of the encirclement. You want to leave after sealing me for so many years? You're courting death. Discipline King Spirit Devouring said coldly. He waved his palm, and a giant palm condensed and grabbed at the phoenix ancient mirror. The phoenix spread its wings, and a dazzling ray of light shot out. It pierced through the huge hand condensed by Discipline King Spirit Devourer and rushed into the distance. Discipline King Soul Devouring frowned and didn't pursue. The dozen saints were afraid of him, so they didn't dare to pursue. In the blink of an eye, the ancient phoenix mirror disappeared from everyone's sight. On the heavenly wind plains, a young man was running wildly towards the outside of the heavenly wind plains. This person was Eden. He didn't enter the mountain but stayed outside. Then he saw the ancient phoenix mirror fly out and more than a dozen saints participate in the battle. He knew that there was no point in staying. It was extremely dangerous. If he was swept by the aftermath of the battle between saints, he would die. Therefore, he decided to leave the breezy plains and observe in the dark. While he was running, a phoenix's cry rang out. Then, a rainbow light shot towards his body, entered it, and disappeared. Eden's expression changed drastically. He carefully sensed for a moment and revealed a look of ecstasy. Monarch weapon, ancient phoenix mirror. Eden murmured in a low voice. Then he used his movement technique and flew out at an extreme speed, disappearing in the blink of an eye. On the other side, Discipline King Spirit Devouring looked at the dozen saints with a burning gaze. It was as if in his eyes, a saint realm expert was more attractive than an emperor weapon. Kill! Suddenly, Shakyamuni's Spirit Devouring moved and attacked one of them. Attack! More than a dozen saints attacked at the same time. Terrifying attacks gathered and bombarded Shakyamuni Shirling. However, Shakyamuni Shirling's body was as light as a feather. He dodged the attacks with a slight flash and continued to attack one of them. Help Dharmaraja! At this moment, a few black-robed men stepped into the sky and joined the battle. They were a few saints from Evil Spirit. They attacked and helped Discipline King Spirit Devouring restrain his opponent, making him even more comfortable. Buzz! And NBSP whoosh! Shakyamuni shivered and struck out with his palm. Wisps of black smoke spread out and rushed toward the saints. Shakyamuni devoured the previous saint, so he was obviously stronger. The saints seemed to be very afraid of the black smoke. They didn't dare to touch it. They kept attacking to disperse the black smoke. Some other attacks were aimed at Shakyamuni Shirling, but they seemed to be useless against him. His body collapsed and turned into wisps of black smoke. Die! Shakyamuni's spirit devouring stared at one of the saints and kept attacking. That saint was from a small sect and was relatively weak. The saint's expression was ugly as he kept retreating. Lingyan's steps. An ear-piercing sound came out of Shakyamuni Devourer's mouth. His body flickered and suddenly disappeared without a trace. Not good. The saint was shocked. He exploded his saint power and controlled the law to attack in all directions. Puchi. Shakyamuni Devouring Spirit had already appeared in front of him. His palm pierced through the saint's heart, and the terrifying power destroyed his saint heart. Then, it began to absorb the blood of the other party. Stop him! We can't let him continue to absorb blood. A saint from the Yudu sect roared and attacked Shakyamuni Shirling. The other saints also attacked him. Shakyamuni had been sealed for many years. His vitality was weak, so his strength was low. However, if the other party absorbed his blood, his strength would probably skyrocket. The terrifying attacks landed on Shakyamuni Shirling. His body exploded, turning into wisps of black smoke and entering the body of the saint he had killed. You can't stop me. An evil voice came from the saint's body. His body shriveled up at a speed visible to the naked eye. Destroy his corpse. Someone shouted. The terrifying attack landed on the saint's body and instantly cracked it. However, only a small amount of blood scattered and was rolled up by a cloud of black smoke. The blood was then sucked into the black smoke. Ga ga ga. As he laughed, Shakyamuni devoured his human form again. However, his body was plumper, and his aura was stronger. Spirit-destroying palm, kill, attack. Shakyamuni Devourer shouted. This time he directly attacked. He had absorbed the blood of 2 saints in a row, and his strength had increased greatly. He could now use some terrifying means. A terrifying palm print was formed, and it attacked one of the saints. Bang! The saint exploded and struck the palm print, but the result was that the saint's body shook violently and he retreated while spitting blood. Ooh! Shakyamuni's spirit devouring struck out more than a dozen palm prints. They covered the sky and attacked the saints. More than a dozen saints roared and attacked to block, but in the end, they were all forced to retreat while spitting blood. Emperor-level experts were too powerful. As long as they recovered some of their strength, these ordinary saints wouldn't be able to resist them. Chapter 1584. 1584 Emperor of Holy War. At the same time, Evil Spirit and a few other saints also attacked together, aiming at one person. Bang! After blocking Shakyamuni's attack, the man was attacked by several other saints. He couldn't resist at all. With a scream, his body was cracked and he died on the spot. Wizard King's spirit devouring turned into a cloud of black smoke and absorbed all the blood. Not good. The other saints were all shocked. Shakyamuni's strength was already shocking enough. Now he had absorbed the blood of another saint. His strength must be even more terrifying. Let's go! The dozen saints didn't dare to continue fighting. They turned around and ran. They came from different sects and weren't of one mind. At this moment of life and death, they all wanted to escape and let the others block them. If you want to escape, you'll all die. Master Spirit Devouring sneered and chased after the saints with a few evil spirit saints. The saint has been defeated. There were still some people watching from below. They had thought that with more than a dozen saints working together, they would most likely be able to suppress the other party. They didn't expect to see this scene, and they were immediately scared out of their wits and began to run wildly. At that moment, Lu Ming, Tian Shui, and Xuanixin were almost out of the windy plains. They did not stop. Shakyamuni's Spirit Devourer was an emperor-level powerhouse. Although there were more than a dozen saints, Lu Ming still felt that a dozen saints might not be of much use. Not good. The saints have been defeated. Tian Chue growled. Saint might filled the air. The saints scattered and fled in all directions. Let's go. Shakyamuni's target is the saints. Our cultivation is too weak. He won't target us now, Lu Ming said. The three of them continued to fly at high speed, and in the blink of an eye, they were out of the heavenly wind plains. At this moment, a terrifying sharp light pierced through the sky and wind plains from the distant sky. It was a long spear, the spear of God's punishment. Another expert from the heavenly divine sect had arrived. This spear of divine punishment was extremely terrifying. It streaked across the void as if it was going to pierce through it. Absolute saint. Shakyamuni devoured his voice and struck out with his palm, clashing with the spear of divine punishment. An earth-shattering boom rang out, and Shakyamuni shivered and retreated dozens of miles. In the distant void, a figure stepped on the air and arrived. It was a middle-aged man with a slender figure. It was obvious that he had been very handsome when he was young. His expression was very calm, but he exuded a supreme majesty. Sect Master, it's the Sect Master. Some of the disciples of the Heavenly God sect shouted when they saw this middle-aged man. Lu Ming and the other two were also shocked. The Sect Master of the Heavenly God sect had actually come in person. I didn't expect an evil spirit's guardian king to be sealed here. But he looks very weak. A cold voice rang out. The one who spoke was not the Sect Master of the Heaven God sect, but from the other side. A green-robed old man suddenly appeared. He was the one who had spoken. Sect Master. The Desire Poison sect disciples cried out in shock. The Desire Poison sect's Sect Master had also arrived. Two absolute saints came. As long as I kill you, I should be able to recover 20% of my cultivation. Shakyamuni Devourer laughed. Shakyamuni Spirit Devouring, Yemo said. You still want to kill us in your current state? What a joke. Just leave. Leave the Azure continent and I won't hold you accountable for what happened today. The Heavenly God sect's Sect Master calmly spoke. A mere absolute saint. What an arrogant tone. What if I don't retreat? Shakyamuni Devourer said coldly. If you don't retreat, he'll have to make you stay and completely destroy you. The Sect Master of the Heavenly God sect spoke. After which, he turned to the Sect Master of the Desire Poison sect. Brother Wu, how about we work together? I was thinking the same thing. The Sect Master of the Desire Poison sect said. Then let me see what you juniors can do. Shakyamuni Spirit Devouring charged at the Sect Master of the Heavenly God sect. Boom, boom. At the same time, the Sect Masters of the Tianshan sect and the Yudu sect both released terrifying auras and charged at Shakyamuni. Instantly, the entire area was covered in white holy light, green poisonous gas, and black smoke. Terrifying rumbles were heard continuously. Shakyamuni has been blocked. Let's go. Lu Ming did not hesitate at all. He took out the space-breaking flying shuttle. The three of them stepped into the space-breaking flying shuttle and flew away. In the blink of an eye, they disappeared from the place. The speed of the space-breaking flying shuttle was very fast, but it still took a few minutes for the terrible shaking in the heavenly wind plane to completely disappear. Damn, he actually got himself a great emperor. That was close. Tian Chue said with lingering fear in his heart. Emperor-ranked characters were truly too terrifying. For so many years, the Azure continent had only produced one Emperor Tsang. After Emperor Tsang, there was no other emperor. I wonder if the Sect Masters of the Deity sect and the Yudu sect can stop Shakyamuni? Xuanixin said. The evil spirit cult was destroyed 80,000 years ago, and Discipline King Devourer was probably sealed by another great emperor 80,000 years ago. He's been extremely weak for so many years, but he's still a great emperor. It's hard to say if he has two absolute saints. Lu Ming said. However, all of this had nothing to do with them. With their strength, there was no point in worrying. They could not interfere at all. Ordinary saints couldn't even interfere with that kind of expert. They would be killed if they tried. I wonder how little Qing is doing. I didn't see her before. Lu Ming was a little worried. He took out his voice transmission jade talisman and was about to send a voice transmission to Xian Yanqing. However, as soon as he took out his jade talisman, he received a voice transmission from Xian Yanqing, asking him how he was. He was filled with worry. Since Xian Yanqing had sent him a voice transmission, it meant that Xian Yanqing was fine. Lu Ming heaved a sigh of relief. Lu Ming then replied to Xian Yanqing's message. Through the voice transmission jade talisman, Lu Ming knew that Xian Yanqing was now outside the Tianfeng Plains. A saint from the Tianyu demonic sect had come and she was with him. Lu Ming adjusted his direction and the space-breaking shuttle flew rapidly towards Xian Yanqing. Soon, he saw Xian Yanqing. The two of them chatted for a while before bidding each other farewell. Chapter 1585. 1585 Heaven-defying disciple. Soon, the Lu clan's fort was in sight. The three of them alighted from the spatial shuttle. After Lu Ming kept the spatial shuttle, the three of them stepped on the air and headed toward the Lu clan's fort. It's young Master Lu. The people from the Lu clan fort immediately recognized Lu Ming and welcomed him into the Lu clan fort. Junior brother Lu Ming, I can't believe you accepted a disciple here. I'd like to see it for myself. Tan Chui was extremely curious. Not only him, Xuanixin was also the same. They were still young. At this age, it was the golden age for cultivation. They would not usually take in disciples, because they would be distracted. Only when they had reached a certain age, past the golden age of cultivation, would they consider taking in disciples. Moreover, Lu Ming was so young and he had already accepted disciples. The disciple he accepted would definitely not be ordinary. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with anticipation. Xiangxiang Beila's talent was absolutely shocking. Now that they had not met for a year, what realm had Xiangxiang Beila's cultivation base reached? Young Master Lu. Lu Zhenghao came over from a distance. Patriarch Lu, these two are my senior brother and senior sister. Lu Ming introduced Tian Chui and Xuanixin to Lu Zhenghao. Lu Zhenghao quickly saluted Tian Chui and Xuanixin. After that, everyone came to the main hall of the Lu family. After everyone took their seats, a maidservant naturally served them tea. Lu family head, where is Xiangxiang? Lu Ming asked. Xiangxiang is cultivating in seclusion. I've already asked Wanjun to call her. Lu Zhenghao said. N. Patriarch Lu, I have a favor to ask of you. Lu Ming nodded. Young master, please speak. As long as the Lu clan can do it, we will do our best to help. Lu Zhenghao said. Clan head Lu, you're being too serious. It's not a big deal. I have some friends who would like to settle down in the Lu clan fort. Is that possible? Lu Ming said. Of course you can. How many people are there? Lu Zhenghao asked. A few hundred people, let's go out and take a look. With that, Lu Ming walked out of the hall and into the courtyard outside the hall. Then he waved his hand and Feng Ling and the Feng family villagers all appeared in the courtyard. As soon as Feng Ling and the others appeared, they started to look around. Feng Ling village chief, it's me. Lu Ming said with a smile. Your big brother Lu? Feng Ling widened her eyes and looked at Lu Ming in surprise. Back then, Lu Ming had disguised himself. Now that he had restored his original appearance, Feng Ling, the village chief, and the rest naturally could not recognize him. It's me. Village chief, we're already at the southeast of the Azure region. How about you guys stay here from now on? Lu Ming smiled. Brother Lu, I'll just follow your arrangements. The village chief said. Don't worry, young Master Lu. I'll get someone to arrange their accommodation. I'll definitely find a place with a good environment to settle them down. Lu Zhenghao said. Then he called a patriarch of the Lu family, Feng Ling, the village chief, and the others to settle down. In this way, one of Lu Ming's worries could be considered resolved. Master! A crisp voice was heard. A figure flashed and a little girl of about 7 or 8 years old appeared in front of Lu Ming. It was Lu Xiangxiang. Lu Wanjun followed behind Xiangxiang. Xiangxiang, why aren't you paying your respects to your master? You don't know any manners. Lu Wanjun scolded him. Disciple pays respects to master. Xiangxiang Beila bowed to Lu Ming obediently. No need. Come, let me introduce you. This is my senior brother. You should call him 7th senior uncle. This is my senior sister. You should call him 8th senior aunt. Lu Ming pointed at Tian Shui and Xuaningxin and started to introduce them. Xiang Xiang greets 7th martial uncle and 8th martial aunt. Xiang Xiang obediently bowed to Tian Shui and Xuaningxin. Haha, good girl, this is a gift from 8th martial aunt. Xuaningxin took out a green bead and gave it to Xiang Xiang. It was an emperor's spiritual weapon as a greeting gift. Come, 7th uncle also has a gift for you. Tian Shui grinned as he took out an emperor's spiritual weapon and gave it to Xiang Xiang. Xiang Xiang, your cultivation? You've reached LV9 Martial King realm? At this moment, a look of surprise flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. I've just broken through to LV9 Martial King realm a few days ago. Xiang Xiang Bela nodded. Lu Ming's eyelids twitched. He was shocked. 1 year. In just 1 year, Xiang Xiang Bela's cultivation had already broken through to LV9 Martial King realm. This speed was simply too shocking. This was in the Lu clan fort, and they had not received the resources of a top sect to nurture them. This speed left Lu Ming dumbfounded. It's not bad to be able to reach LV9 Martial King realm at this age. Xiang Xiang, how long have you been cultivating? Tian Shui asked. Xiang Xiang has been cultivating for a year. A year ago, Master taught me how to cultivate. Xiang Xiang Bela said. A year's time is not bad. Wait, what? A year? Tian Shui started to nod his head and immediately reacted. His mouth opened wider and wider as he looked at Xiang Xiang in disbelief. Xuaningxin was also dumbfounded. A year ago, before he had even started cultivating, he had used only a year to reach LV9 Martial King realm. This kind of speed had left Tian Shui and Xuaningxin flabbergasted. Although this was the Yuan continent and many Heaven's Pride experts cultivated at an amazing speed, they had never heard of anyone who had only spent a year to reach the 9th level of the Martial King realm. On the side, Lu Wanjun and Lu Zhenghao were both excited and happy. To be honest, at the beginning, Xiang Xiang Bela's cultivation speed had also shocked them. Now, it had completely turned into excitement. Xiang Xiang Bela blinked her big eyes, curiously looking at the dumbstruck Tian Shui and Xuaningxin. She really couldn't understand why her martial aunt and martial uncle were like this. After a long time, Tian Shui and Xuaningxin finally reacted. Junior brother, I'm so envious that I can actually take in such a good disciple. If I had such a disciple, even if I don't cultivate, I'd still give her some good guidance. Tian Shui looked at Lu Ming with eyes full of envy, jealousy, and hatred. Then, as a martial uncle, you must give me more guidance in the future. Lu Ming said with a smile. They chatted, and when night fell, Lu Zhenghao prepared a banquet for them. That night, Lu Ming and the few of them stayed in the Lu clan fort. The next morning, Lu Ming bade farewell to Lu Zhenghao and Lu Wanjun. Mother, grandfather, take care. Xiang Xiang said goodbye to Lu Zhenghao and Lu Wanjun reluctantly. Xiang Xiang, in the future, when you're in Dragon God Valley, you must listen to Master and cultivate well, understand? Lu Wanjun's eyes were full of reluctance, and tears began to fall. Mother, don't cry. Xiang Xiang will find time to come and see you. Xiang Xiang Bela said obediently. Then Xiang Xiang said goodbye to Lu Zhenghao. Lu family head, young madam, well meet again. Lu Ming cupped his fists and left with Xiang Xiang, disappearing from Lu Zhenghao and the others' sight. After flying for a while, Lu Ming took out the space-breaking flying shuttle. The four of them stepped into the space-breaking flying shuttle and headed for Dragon God Valley. It was Xiang Xiang Bela's first time riding on a space-breaking flying shuttle, and she had a child's temperament. She quickly threw the sadness of separation to the back of her mind and looked around. She then pulled Lu Ming and asked him all sorts of questions. She was extremely curious. Chapter 1586. 1586 Tai Chi Formation Plate. The Lu clan fort was very close to Dragon God Valley. They arrived not long after they took the space-breaking shuttle. As they approached Dragon God Valley, everyone got off the space-breaking shuttle and stepped into the Dragon God Valley, heading towards Cloud Dragon Valley. Xiang Xiang, are you cold? Lu Ming turned to look at Xiang Xiang. The little girl's face was red from the cold. I'm not. Xiang Xiang Bela shook her head. A layer of green radiance emanated from her body to resist the cold air outside. Below them, the snow mountain passed by their feet. Soon, they arrived at Cloud Dragon Valley. Ming, come to my immortal's cave. As soon as Lu Ming and the rest stepped into Cloud Dragon Valley, the Valley Master's voice rang in Lu Ming's ears. With the Cloud Dragon Valley Master's realm, his spiritual sense covered the entire Cloud Dragon Valley. It wasn't difficult for him to know that they had returned. Senior brother, senior sister, Master is looking for me. I'll go to Master's cave first. Lu Ming said. All right, then junior brother should go quickly. Let's return to the cave dwelling first. Xuaningxin said. Lu Ming nodded. He brought Xiang Xiang Bela and headed towards the depths of Cloud Dragon Valley. Soon, Lu Ming arrived at the cave abode of the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master was sitting cross-legged on a futon in the cave abode. Disciple Lu Ming greets Master. Lu Ming cupped his fists and bowed to the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. Grand Disciple Lu Xiangxiang pays her respects to Grandmaster. Lu Xiangxiang was very obedient. When she saw Lu Ming bow, she quickly followed suit. What? The Cloud Dragon Valley Master was slightly taken aback. He looked at Xiang Bela and said, Ming, is this your disciple? Yes, this is the disciple I took in a year ago. I'll need more guidance from Master in the future. Lu Ming said. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master carefully sized up Xiang Bela. Then his eyes flickered, revealing a look of surprise. Following that, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master's eyes seemed to flash as he carefully stared at Xiang Bela. The more he looked, the stronger the light in his eyes became. Finally, a look of shock flashed across his face. Ming, your disciple is amazing. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master exclaimed. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He knew that the Cloud Dragon Valley Master could tell that Xiang Bela was extraordinary. Little girl, come here and let Grandmaster take a good look. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said gently. Yes, Master. Xiang Bela walked over obediently to the side of the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. Ha, what a sensible girl. Well, little girl, your master may not have so much time to guide you. In the future, Grandmaster will guide you in your cultivation. Cloud Dragon Valley rubbed Xiang Bela's little head and laughed. Many thanks, Master. Lu Ming was also overjoyed. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master's cultivation was much higher than his. It was unfathomable. Xiang Bela's guidance from him would be much better than his. Yes, Ming, you've been away for a year. How's the removal of the killing intent in the depths of your soul? The Cloud Dragon Valley Master's tone changed. It's already been cleaned up. Lu Ming nodded. That's good. Ming, I have bad news for you. A few days ago, I received news that the deity of the Tianshan sect has broken through to the Sage Realm. Cloud Dragon Valley said with a serious expression. Did the Divine Sun break through to the Saint Realm? Lu Ming raised his eyebrows. Ming, there's still a year and a half before the next treasure sealing assembly. In this year and a half, even if you cultivate with all your might, I'm afraid it'll be difficult for you to catch up to the Divine Child. So, Master will send you to a place where you might have a chance to fight for it. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said. Master, what is that place? Lu Ming asked curiously. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master had said a year ago that he would send him to a place and ask him to come back a year later. Lu Ming had always been very curious. That place is called the 100-Tribe Battlefield. It's an extremely dangerous place, but it's also a place filled with endless opportunities. Only by going there will you have a chance of fighting the Divine Sun in the next treasure-fixing assembly. I'll tell you the details when we arrive at the starting point. Alright, take Xiang out. Arrange her residence and show her around Cloud Dragon Valley. We'll set off in 3 days. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said. Lu Ming nodded and bade farewell to the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. He left the cave abode with Xiang Bela. After that, Lu Ming picked a cave abode near his and let Xiang Bela stay in it. Cloud Dragon Valley was huge and had many cave abodes. However, there were only about 100 people in the cave abode, so most of the cave abodes were empty. Xiang, if you have any questions about your cultivation during this period of time, you can ask me. Lu Ming said to Xiang. Yes, master, I have some questions to ask. Xiang Bela nodded and began to ask all the questions that she had encountered during this period of time. Lu Ming patiently answered them one by one. Half a day later, Xiang Bela returned to her cave dwelling to cultivate in satisfaction. Lu Ming appeared in the mountain and river diagram. He was refining his second body and sitting cross-legged on a mountain peak in the mountain and river diagram. A stone plate was suspended above his head, emitting a vast and terrifying aura. This stone plate was the Tai Chi stone plate that he had obtained from the heavenly wind plains. During this period of time, he had been studying the inscription's secondary body. In the end, he concluded that this was a formation disc, a terrifying formation disc. With the help of this formation disc, the Ming Lian secondary body had lit up 2 mental lamps in a short time. Now, he had already lit up 8 spirit lamps. In the past year, his second body had been cultivating and had made great progress. With the second Bodhi's current cultivation, it was completely enough to communicate with the laws through inscriptions and try to use the power of the laws to enter the half-saint realm. However, Lu Ming would not do that now. 8 spirit lamps were too few. He needed to light 10 spirit lamps before he would consider entering the half-saint realm. Lu Ming called this array disk the Tai Chi array disk. Buzz. With a thought, golden mental energy fire spread out between the eyebrows of the Minglian clone and poured into the Tai Chi formation disk. Instantly, the Tai Chi formation disk lit up and a Tai Chi yin-yang diagram appeared, emitting a terrifying pressure. The yin-yang Taiji diagram seemed to contain a terrifying power of killing and sealing. It was very likely that this was a monarch weapon on the same level as the ancient phoenix mirror. With the cultivation of the inscription secondary body, it was difficult for it to unleash even 1/10,000th of the power of the Tai Chi formation disc. Even so, Lu Ming felt that Ming Lian's clone could easily kill a LV9 Martial Royal Realm expert or even an ordinary half-saint by controlling the Tai Chi disc array. Lu Ming's face revealed a satisfied smile. He had gained a lot from this trip to the Windy Plains. Just this Tai Chi formation plate alone was a priceless treasure. It would greatly increase Lu Ming's combat strength and refine his second body, which would become Lu Ming's strongest trump card. After looking at it for a while, Lu Ming exited the mountain and river diagram and closed his eyes to cultivate. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Lu Ming told Xiang to stay in Cloud Dragon Valley at ease while he went to the cave abode of the Cloud Dragon Valley Master once again. Ming, I will take you to the Cloud Emperor Mountain first. If you want to go to the 100-tribe battlefield, you must go from the Cloud Emperor Mountain. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master explained. Cloud Emperor Mountain? Lu Ming was puzzled. He had never heard of such a place in the Azure region. The Cloud King Mountain is not located in the Azure continent. It is located in another continent near the Azure continent, called the Cloud Continent. The Cloud King Mountain is the most powerful force in the Cloud Continent, and it is guarded by a monarch-level expert. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master continued to explain. Chapter 1587 Emperor-Ranked Power and the 100-Clan Battlefield, an Emperor-Ranked Power. Lu Ming was shocked. An Emperor-Ranked Power had a great emperor overseeing it. It was stronger than any sect in the Azure continent, or even stronger than all the sects in the Azure continent combined. Having a great emperor in charge and not having one were two completely different things. However, some of the books that Lu Ming had read before only introduced the Azure region. There was very little information about the regions outside the Azure region. The Yuan continent is vast and boundless. Every emperor-level expert can occupy a territory and establish a force. That territory is a state and is called by the name of the emperor. The great emperor of the Cloud King Mountain is called Emperor Yun. Therefore, The region where Emperor Yun is located is called the Cloud Continent. Our Azure Continent originated from Emperor Tsung. If there is a new great emperor in the Azure Continent in the future, the name might change. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master explained. A great emperor can build a prefecture. Lu Ming could not help but look forward to it. The Azure Continent was so vast, yet it was only a territory that Emperor Tsung occupied. Master, how many large provinces are there in the Yuan continent? Lu Ming asked curiously. The Valley Master shook his head. The Yuan continent is too big. There are countless provinces. I don't know either. Countless big provinces? Lu Ming was dumbfounded. One continent represented one emperor. Were there that many emperors in the Yuan continent? Ming, Master has a map of the regions near the Azure region. Take a good look at it on the way. The Valley Master of Cloud Dragon Valley took out a jade talisman and handed it to Lu Ming. Then, with a wave of his hand, he rose into the air with Lu Ming and appeared outside Dragon God Valley. With a wave of his hand, an air-breaking flying shuttle appeared in the sky. The flying shuttle was purple gold in color and had a smooth curve. There were strange patterns carved on it, which looked very beautiful. One look and one could tell that it was much more advanced than the space-breaking flying shuttle that Lu Ming had. Ming, come up. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master stepped into the space-breaking flying shuttle, followed by Lu Ming. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master controlled the space-breaking flying shuttle. It turned into a beam of light and disappeared. What a fast speed! Lu Ming looked outside through the crystal glass. The mountains and rivers below passed by in the blink of an eye. The speed was unbelievable. It was at least 10 times faster than his space-breaking flying shuttle. This was definitely a top-grade flying shuttle. Lu Ming looked at it for a while before he sat down cross-legged and took out the jade talisman given to him by the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. With a sweep of his spiritual senses, a map was reflected in Lu Ming's mind. This map was divided into different regions, and each region was a large province. There were dozens of large provinces recorded in it, all of which were large provinces near the Azure province. The Gray region was located in the southeast of the map and was close to the Boundless Sea. The Cloud Emperor Mountain was located in the Cloud region and was in the northwest of the Gray region. That is, the Di family of the Di state. Suddenly, Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. To the north of the Azure region was another large region, called the Emperor region. It was marked that the Emperor region was under the control of the Di family. Could it be Di Xian's family? The Di family actually has a great emperor in charge. Lu Ming frowned slightly. I once injured Di Xian in the Divine Wilderness continent. I'm afraid that this person will not let this matter rest so easily. In the future, I have to find an opportunity to get rid of this person to prevent any future trouble. Lu Ming pondered in his heart. Then, Lu Ming imprinted the map in his heart and cultivated quietly. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master's flying shuttle was simply too fast. In just 2 days, it had crossed the entire Azure region and entered the Cloud region, arriving before a vast mountain. Here, the two of them got off the space-breaking flying shuttle. What a majestic mountain! Lu Ming could not help but sigh as he looked at the mountain in front of him. The Gray Mountain was already majestic enough, but compared to the one in front of him, there was still a huge gap. Was this the Cloud Emperor Mountain? Looking at the mountain from afar, Lu Ming felt a supreme majesty emanating from the Cloud Emperor Mountain. This majesty seemed to be standing at the peak of all living beings, and everyone had to bow down to it. This was the majesty of a great emperor. A great emperor was hiding in this mountain. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master took out a voice transmission jade talisman and sent out a message. Not long after, a white-robed old man stepped out of the Cloud Emperor Mountain. Brother Yun, why are you so free today to come to my Cloud Emperor Mountain? The white-robed old man smiled. It's nothing big. I just wanted to send my disciple to the 100-clan battlefield, so I came to visit your old friend. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said, it's just a fake that you've come to see me. It's true that you're sending your disciple into the 100-clan battlefield. The white-robed elder laughed and looked at Lu Ming. Brother Yun, your disciple's cultivation is only at the peak of the 6th level martial royal realm. Isn't it a little too low to enter the 100-clan battlefield? Danger lurks at every step in the 100-clan battlefield. It's fine. Only danger has the effect of tempering. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said. That's good. Come with me. The Cloud Emperor Mountain will be arranging a group of young Heaven's Pride experts to enter the 100-tribe battlefield to train. You can go with them so that you can look out for each other. The white-robed elder said. Then he brought Lu Ming and the Cloud Dragon Valley Master into the Cloud Emperor Mountain and arranged a courtyard for them to stay in. Brother Yun, you guys stay here for 2 days. They'll bring this little fellow to the 100-clan battlefield in 2 days. The white-robed old man said his goodbyes and left. Ming, you must be very curious about what kind of place the 100-clan battlefield is, right? At that moment, the Valley Master looked at Lu Ming. Lu Ming nodded. He was indeed very curious. It said that in the ancient times, a war of the 100 races took place in that area. That war was extremely tragic and the sky collapsed. Legend has it that many Emperor-level experts died. That was the 100 races battlefield. In the 100-clan battlefield, too many experts have died, especially the Emperor-level experts. As a result, the laws of heaven and earth in that area have become chaotic and chaotic. The experts of the Sage Realm can't enter because of their domain laws. Once they enter, they will be affected by the chaotic laws, causing their laws to become chaotic. Once, there were experts of the Sage Realm who entered. In the worst case, they died from the chaos of the laws, and in the worst case, their cultivation was completely crippled. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master explained. It's that terrifying? Lu Ming was shocked. That's right. That's why experts above the Saint Realm don't dare to enter the 100-clan battlefield. Only those below the Saint Realm can enter. Some half-saints have comprehended nomological laws but are not strong enough to enter. In addition, there are too many experts who participated in the 100-clan battlefield, and too many experts have died. There are countless treasures buried there, and it's simply a huge treasure trove. Many Emperor-ranked powers will send their experts there, and as time passed, it became a place for geniuses to train. Now, it's become the first choice for geniuses of the various Emperor-ranked powers to train. One by one, the peerless geniuses of the Emperor-ranked powers will enter, tempering themselves in the face of life and death, seeking a breakthrough. That's why it's said that there's a place where opportunity and danger coexist. Because many geniuses enter with the purpose of tempering themselves, there's no need for a reason to make a move there. As long as someone thinks you're worth tempering, they'll make a move on you. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master explained everything in detail. Then, he looked at Lu Ming with bright eyes and said, Ming, do you dare to go to such a place? Chapter 1588 Chapter 1588 Entering the 100-clan battlefield. Why not? That's just what I want. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with anticipation and a strong desire to fight. The battlefield of the 100 races was actually a training ground for the geniuses of the various emperor-ranked powers. How many geniuses would be gathered there? Lu Ming could feel the blood in his body starting to boil. It was only interesting this way. He could only force Lu Ming to advance quickly by clashing with the other prodigies. I didn't misjudge you. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master smiled, but in the next moment, his smile disappeared. His face turned serious as he said, cultivators, especially geniuses, can often develop their potential and break through the shackles to surpass themselves when faced with a life-and-death crisis. Therefore, anyone who dares to enter the 100-clan battlefield is a genius among geniuses. They are also mentally tough and have terrifying combat abilities. This is because ordinary people don't dare to enter. Life-and-death battles are too common in the 100-clan battlefield. So, you must be careful. You can't let your guard down. Your disciple understands. Lu Ming nodded. Yes, I have an introduction to the 100-clan battlefield here. Take a look. I'll be of some help to you. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master took out another jade talisman and handed it to Lu Ming. Then, the two of them returned to their respective rooms. Lu Ming took out the jade talisman and started to read it. In the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. 2 days later, the white-robed old man came to the courtyard. Little guy, come with me. The white-robed old man smiled. Master, disciple will take his leave. Lu Ming cupped his fists at the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. Go, Master believes in you. In the next treasure auction, you will definitely be able to defeat a strong enemy. At that time, you will be able to look down on the Azure region's younger generation. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master said, You Brother Yun, you're quite confident in your disciple. The white-robed elder smiled and waved his hand. A wave of energy enveloped Lu Ming and took him into the sky. After a while, the white-robed elder brought Lu Ming to a canyon. In the canyon, there was a huge altar that was engraved with inscriptions. Teleportation altar. Lu Ming could tell that it was a teleportation altar. This was the first time he had seen a teleportation altar in the Yuan continent. The space of the Yuan continent was too stable. If one wanted to set up a teleportation altar and teleport across regions, the price would be extremely high and the amount of resources needed would also be shocking. In the Dragon God Valley, there were only teleportation altars to the ocean. There were no other teleportation altars to the other parts of the Yuan continent. Perhaps only Emperor-level forces had them. There were 4 young men beside the altar. 1 woman and 3 men. The woman was tall and wore a silver armor, but it still couldn't hide her hot figure. She looked very heroic. The other 3 young men were all wearing white robes with clouds embroidered on them. When the white-robed elder arrived with Lu Ming, the 4 young men looked at Lu Ming curiously. Let me introduce him to you. His name is Lu Ming, and he will be going to the 100-clan battlefield with you. The white-robed old man gave a simple introduction. Lu Ming? I've never heard of this name before. One of the young men asked with a puzzled expression. This person had a head full of dark green hair and looked very conspicuous. He's not from the Cloud Emperor Mountain, he's from the Azure continent. The white-robed old man introduced. The Azure continent? Hearing that Lu Ming came from the Azure continent, the green-haired youth's eyes revealed a hint of contempt. He studied Lu Ming for a moment and said, You're only at the 6th level of the martial royal realm, yet you want to enter the 100-clan battlefield. You're simply courting death. I'll be careful when we enter the 100-clan battlefield. Lu Ming furrowed his brows. Be careful? Don't tell me you're thinking of relying on us? I'm telling you, we won't save you if you run into danger in the 100-clan battlefield. The green-haired youth sneered, and his contempt grew. I will be responsible for my own life. If I am killed in any danger, it can only be considered that I am not skilled enough. Lu Ming's voice turned cold. The green-haired youth's tone made him very unhappy. Seeing that Lu Ming actually dared to talk to him with a cold face, the green-haired young man snorted coldly. A sharp glint flashed in his eyes as he said, Trash from the Azure continent, let's see how you die. Yun Kai, enough. At this time, the silver-armored woman berated. The green-haired young man seemed to be very afraid of the silver-armored woman. He sneered and didn't say anything more. Lu Ming, my name is Yun Shi. The silver-armored woman introduced herself. Hello. Lu Ming nodded. Lu Ming, you don't have to take Yun Kai's words to heart. Since you're entering the 100-clan battlefield with us, well, naturally take care of each other when the time comes. Yun Shi said. In other words, if they were to encounter any danger, they would take care of Lu Ming to the best of their abilities. These geniuses of emperor-ranked powers had a sense of superiority that came from their bones when they faced people who weren't from emperor-ranked powers. Although Yun Shi was friendly, she still had a faint sense of superiority. Lu Ming smiled faintly. He did not comment nor explain. Lu Ming, the two of them are called Yun Feng and Yun Ke. Then, Yun Shi introduced the other two young men to Lu Ming. The other two young men nodded at Lu Ming indifferently. Alright, now that you know each other, let's go. The white-robed old man said. Everyone nodded and stepped onto the teleportation altar. The white-robed elder waved his hand and the altar began to glow. A space door was formed and Lu Ming and the five of them stepped into it. The world spun and Lu Ming felt his vision go dark. What a powerful spatial rotation. Lu Ming had a thought in his mind. The more stable the space was, the stronger the spinning force would be during the teleportation. The next moment, the spinning force disappeared and Lu Ming found himself on a huge platform. The platform should be located on the peak of a mountain. Looking into the distance, what came into view was a hilly area with no end in sight. The 100-clan battlefield is up ahead. We're outside the 100-clan battlefield right now. Yun Shi said. Lu Ming nodded. He had read the introduction of the 100-clan battlefield given to him by the Cloud Dragon Valley Master. Any Emperor-level forces who wanted to enter the 100-clan battlefield could only be teleported outside. Teleportation formations could not be built in the 100-clan battlefield as the laws were too chaotic. Let's go! Yun Shi said and flew forward first. This team was led by Yun Shi. Her cultivation was the highest, reaching the LV9 Martial Royal Realm. The other three were all at the LV8 Martial Royal Realm. Moreover, those who dared to enter the 100-clan battlefield to train were all very powerful. Lu Ming estimated that Yun Shi and the other three had superior-grade Earth spiritual bodies. The five of them flew forward, and not long after, a deep ditch appeared in front of them. This ravine was created by later generations. It's a sign that the area in front of the ravine is the official entrance to the 100-clan battlefield. Yun Shi said. The five of them flew over the deep trench. As soon as they flew past the deep trench, Lu Ming felt that something was not right. He extended his spiritual senses and discovered that the laws of heaven and earth were indeed in a mess. Chapter 1589. 1589 The killer of Thousand Kill Manor. This kind of chaos could not be seen with the naked eye. In fact, if one's cultivation was too low, one would not even be able to sense it. Only when one reached a certain realm would one be able to sense it. However, they were not saints, so the chaotic laws did not affect them much. The 100-tribe battlefield had taken place in ancient times, and it had happened a long time ago. The earth was reinvigorated, just like the outside world, except for the chaotic laws of the world. At this point, the 5 of them concealed their auras and became more careful. The closer we get to the center of the 100-clan battlefield, the more experts there will be. We should be fine if we're careful on the periphery. Yun, she said in a low voice. The few of them nodded. In the 100-tribe battlefield, the closer to the center of the 100-tribe war, the more powerful the participants were. Naturally, many treasures were left behind. Therefore, the more powerful the heaven's favorites are, the more they would gather in the center to search for opportunities. And he swept his long spear horizontally. They would find opponents to train themselves. When he swept it out, he realized that he had some of the weaker heaven's favorites were through the air, and with a swish, ran forward the sword did not encounter any danger. Occasionally, they would encounter some demonic beasts, roared as he slashed out with his sword. But most of them were not of a high level. The power was terrifying. The 100-clan battlefield was cultivation was at the peak of the LV covered martial thousands of miles. It was obvious that he had an upper-class earth spiritual body. Soft sound he could easily kill a peak LV let out martial royal realm expert. One of his arms flew off by controlling his flattering everywhere. However, the sword still someone's ambushing us. The sword chi landed on the ground and left a sword mark that was several miles long and dozens of meters deep. The faint sound of something breaking through the air rang out again. Retreat! The sound of the sword breaking through the air rang out continuously. The others followed suit. The terrifying sword light was constantly thrust out. But Yun-Kai was still hit. It would not stab toward Yun-Shi, a deep sword wound appeared on his chest and blood flowed out. Only the sound of the sword could be heard, but no one could see the person who attacked or the sword that was used to assassinate. Killing intent that was the sword light was extremely fast, making his wound difficult to recover in a short time. It was the same for Yunfeng. Another sword wound appeared on Yunfeng's body. He wanted to regrow it, but a terrifying killing intent prevented his spirit body from regrowing. The other party's concealment technique was too powerful. From Thousand Kill Mansion, he had completely concealed his body, and not even a trace of his aura could be sensed. At this moment, they were completely passive and could only be continuously assassinated heading without being able to counterattack. He could only feel cultivation fluctuation, but he couldn't see the attacker. He couldn't even see the sword light. What should we do? It was extremely terrifying. We're too passive. A silver spear appeared in Yun's eyes hand, and she swept it out. There's a canyon there. As long as we enter the canyon, I collided with advantageous to us. With a loud boom, she blocked the other party's movement technique was too so frightened that his terrain body began to flow, and the other party could move freely. Sword appeared in his hand, couldn't hit the other terrifying aura. If they entered the canyon, obviously a holy weapon. Greatly limit the other party's movements. Yun-Kai and Yunfeng both took out their Yun's eyes hand expanded and turned into 1,000-meter long naturally didn't lack saint weapons. It swept in all directions with the power to sweep away thousands of thousand kills mansion. But unfortunately, he surrounded him and prevented him from launching a sneak attack. At this time, shouted. Yun Yen shouted and flew toward the canyon in front of her and looked around nervously. And the other 3 followed Yun-Shi and ran in that direction. We've just entered the 100-clan battlefield, before she could run halfway, and we've already encountered assassins from the Thousand Kill Yun's eyes head. Yun-Kai angrily shouted, shrank, and she suddenly finally obliterated that terrifying killing intent, and the wound on his chest began to recover. But at the same time, as for Yunfeng, his arm started to regrow. Yunfeng from behind. Guard your direction well. Roared and slashed his sword backward. Get lost quickly with a clang, you don't get us involved. The attack. However, their expressions became even uglier. At this moment, a soft sound was heard again. There are 2 assassins from the Thousand Kill Mansion. Yun-Kai shouted, his face pale. One assassin was already very difficult to deal with, but now, there were 2 of them. While at this moment, black wings spread open on Lu Ming's back. With a flap, Lu Ming soared into the sky and left Yun-Shi and the others, flying into the distance. Damn it, this bastard is so afraid of death that he wants to escape alone. Yun-Kai roared. Lu Ming's face was cold. Without saying a word, he flapped his black wings rapidly and flew forward at top speed. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared from the sight of Yun-Shi, Yun-Kai, and the others. He's a coward. If I knew this would happen, I wouldn't have brought him along. Yun Kai said. Yun Feng's and Yun Kei's expressions were also rather unsightly. There's one less assassin. One of them has been lured away by Lu Ming. At this moment, Yun Shi spoke. Indeed, the assassin at the back seemed to have disappeared. Only the assassin in front was still trying to kill them. Chapter 1590 Chapter 1591 Shot Ha, that guy was too smart for his own good. He's really seeking his own death. Yun Kai laughed sarcastically. On the other side, Lu Ming suddenly stopped after flying for a distance. He turned around and looked behind him with a cold gaze. Buzz. Behind him, there was a slight fluctuation. A figure wrapped in a black robe appeared, holding a sword in his hand. It was a transparent sword as thin as a cicada's wing. As an assassin, you dare to show yourself? Lu Ming said in a calm voice. There's no need to hide when dealing with a mere 6th-level martial royal realm expert like you. The black-robed assassin said in a cold voice. Oh really? Don't you regret this? The corners of Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. I'll kill you with one sword strike. A cold voice rang out. Then, the other party moved. In a flash, he crossed hundreds of meters in the air and appeared in front of Lu Ming in an instant. The long sword as thin as a cicada's wing was aimed at Lu Ming. A holy weapon. The sword that was as thin as a cicada's wing was actually a holy weapon. The terrifying sword gleam was unbelievably fast as it pierced towards Lu Ming's throat. Boom. A dragon's roar was heard from within Lu Ming's body. Unknowingly, he had already put on the Luyuan gloves. His essential core surged into the Luyuan gloves madly, making them as heavy as a mountain. Lu Ming threw a punch and the air was completely compressed together. It carried a terrifying force and blasted towards the other party. Buzz. The opponent's long sword trembled non-stop. It actually broke through Lu Ming's fist force and stabbed his fist. With a clang, a terrifying force burst out from Lu Ming's fist and gushed towards the other party with an earth-shattering force. The other party's expression changed drastically. The long sword that was as thin as a cicada's wing trembled non-stop, and the other party's figure was also sent flying by the terrifying power of this punch. Blood spurted out of the other party's mouth, wetting the black cloth around his mouth. The only eye that was exposed revealed was a look of shock. How can he be so powerful? The other party said in disbelief. His cultivation was at the middle LV8 martial royal realm, which was 2 levels higher than Lu Ming's. He also had a superior earth spiritual body, but he was injured by Lu Ming's punch in a head-on fight. You want to kill me with this little bit of power? Lu Ming said indifferently. So what if you're strong? I'm not good at strength, but assassination. Today you're still going to die. The black-robed assassin's voice was cold. Then he moved and disappeared. It was as if he had disappeared into thin air. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes and scanned his surroundings. All of a sudden, a ray of sword light shot toward Lu Ming from behind. Boom! Lu Ming twisted his body and threw a punch backward. However, this punch hit nothing but air. A fist force flew out and created a huge pit on a mountain peak in the distance. Immediately, a sword light appeared on Lu Ming's left side and charged toward him. It was extremely fast and impossible to defend against. Lu Ming threw another punch. Unfortunately, when he did so, the sword light disappeared again and Lu Ming landed in the air. Then, terrifying sword gleams rang out continuously. At the same time, 7 to 8 sword gleams shot toward Lu Ming from all directions. Get lost! The black dragon spear appeared in Lu Ming's hands and he swept it across. The long spear swept in all directions and all the sword hums disappeared. However, it still did not hit the other party. At the critical moment, the other party dodged Lu Ming's attack with a terrifying movement technique. Let's see how many of my moves you can dodge. When you lose your mind, you will die. A cold voice rang in the air. However, it did not come from a single direction. Instead, it kept changing. It's Lu Ming. He's not dead. He's being hunted down by an assassin from the House of 1,000 Kills. He's not dead? Given Lu Ming's cultivation base, he should be dead for sure if he were to face a terrifying killer from the 1,000 Kills mansion. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Lu Ming stood high in the sky and looked down at the clouds. I was just lucky. Yun Kai coldly snorted. At this moment, Lu Ming suddenly swooped down and rushed into the canyon. However, just as they were about to reach the canyon, Lu Ming suddenly turned around and thrust his spear at a void. Wherever the long spear passed, the air would let out a terrifying whistling sound and the space would ripple. In front of the long spear, the figure of a man in black was revealed. Chapter 1591 1591 Chapter 1591 Slaughter. Mark. The man in black's eyes were filled with disbelief. He did not expect that Lu Ming would be able to discover him. At the crucial moment, he used the long sword in his hand to block in front of him. Clang! The long spear stabbed into the opponent's long sword. The long sword bent into an arc and hit the black-clothed man's body. The black-clothed man's body trembled and was directly sent flying, creating a ravine that was a few hundred meters long on the ground. Buzz! Lu Ming's figure did not stop as he charged toward the man in black. Lu Ming, wait a moment. At this moment, Yun Shi exclaimed. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat and he landed beside the man in black. He pointed his long spear and sealed the man's vital essence. Why did you stop me? Lu Ming's gaze turned to Yun Shi. At this moment, Yun Shi, Yun Kai, and the other two were all dumbfounded. To them, the assassins from the residence of 1,000 Kills were extremely difficult to deal with. However, Lu Ming had dealt with them easily. Lu Ming, once an assassin from the 1,000 Kills mansion is killed, a killing mark will be left on the person who killed them. It's almost impossible to erase it. Other assassins from the 1,000 Kills mansion will find the murderer based on this killing mark and will fight until the other party is killed. So, you can't kill this assassin from the 1,000 Kills mansion. Yun Shi took a deep breath to calm herself down and explained. I see. Lu Ming's eyes flickered and he said helplessly, It's a pity it's too late. Too late? Yun Shi was stunned, and then her beautiful eyes widened. Could it be that you've already killed someone? That's right. I've already killed the assassin from the mansion of 1,000 Kills who was chasing me just now. So, I don't mind killing one more person. With that, Lu Ming thrust his long spear forward and killed the assassin in black. With a wave of his hand, he took the other party's storage ring and sword. Yun Shi, Yun Kai, and the others walked out of the canyon, their faces pale. Lu Ming, how did you discover the other party's hiding place? Yun Shi asked. My soul force is relatively strong, so I can sense the other party's soul fluctuations. Lu Ming explained. He had nothing to hide. It was normal for some people to be gifted and have powerful souls. Lu Ming, you've killed 2 assassins from the House of Thousand Kills. Please leave now. Yun Kai said coldly. Oh. Lu Ming looked at Yun Kai. You don't have to be so reluctant. You already have the killing mark of the 1,000 Kill Mansion on you. The assassins of the 1,000 Kill Mansion in the 100 Clan battlefield will keep looking for you. I don't want to be implicated by you. Yun Kai said coldly. Hee hee. Lu Ming chuckled, his laughter filled with contempt. If it had not been for Lu Ming's help, Yun Kai and the others would most likely have been killed by the 2 assassins from the House of Thousand Kills. Now that the assassins from the House of Thousand Kills had been killed by Lu Ming, Yun Kai wanted to ask Lu Ming to leave immediately so that he would not be implicated. What a joke. What are you laughing at? You must leave today. Yun Kai said coldly. I will leave without you telling me. It's even more dangerous for me to stay with trash like you. Lu Ming said indifferently. What did you just say? You dare to call me a trash, a mere 6th-level martial emperor? Yun Kai was furious, pointing at Lu Ming and berating him loudly. You're only at the 6th level of the martial emperor realm, but you killed 2 assassins from the Mansion of 1,000 Kills. What were you doing just now? Lu Ming said disdainfully, causing Yun Kai's face to turn red. It's just that my soul force is a bit stronger. Yun Kai was stubborn. Lu Ming could not be bothered with Yun Kai. He looked at Yun Feng, Yun Kei, and Yun Shi and said, Is this also what you want? Yun Feng and Yun Kei looked embarrassed. Chapter 1592. 1592 Chapter 1592, 10,000 Soldier Domain, you have good eyes. Let's see how many of my weapons you can take. The young man in purple stepped forward and slashed out with his sword. The sword light cut through the void, and its power was much stronger than the previous one. Flying Cloud Spear Art, die. Yun Yen shouted. Her long spear was like a dragon as it shot out beams of dazzling spear light toward the young man in purple. Clang, clang, clang. The 2 of them collided continuously, but they were still evenly matched. However, what was shocking was that there were bright spots shining on the young man's body. From each bright spot, a weapon flew out. These weapons floated around the young man's body. These weapons seemed to be connected with each other. All the chi of combat weapons gathered on the combat sword in the young man's hand, making the power of his combat sword more and more terrifying. The weapon in the purple shirt young man's hand was only an emperor's spiritual weapon, but it could borrow the chi of other spiritual weapons and merge them together. Its power was even stronger than Yun Zai's saint weapon. Kill! The more the young man fought, the more courageous he became. He held a sword in his right hand and grabbed a battle axe with his left hand. He attacked Yun Xiao from both sides. Yun Shi was slowly being suppressed. What a marvelous domain, what a marvelous combat technique. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with amazement. His opponent's domain allowed him to use different weapons at the same time. When he used a sword, it could transform into a sword domain. When he used an axe, it could transform into an axe domain. It seemed to be the same as his chaos domain. However, it was impossible for the other party to cultivate the chaos domain. 10,000 Soldier Domain. An extremely rare domain appeared in Lu Ming's mind. It was the 10,000 Soldier Domain. It was said that one could control all the weapons in the world by cultivating the 10,000 Soldier realm. No matter what weapon one used, it would be transformed into a corresponding weapon realm. Of course, it was only limited to weapons. It could not be transformed into a domain of fire, a domain of water, and the like. Those were the specialties of the chaos domain. But it was still very shocking. Out! In the end, the young man in purple shouted. Bright spots lit up on his body again, and weapons flew out. There were 18 different weapons floating around the young man in purple. All of them were King's spiritual weapons. The combat weapon chi of the 18 King's spiritual weapons was extremely powerful. Clang! Yun Shi was sent flying by the sword. She spat out a mouthful of blood, and her face turned pale. Yun Xiao had lost. He was no match for her in a battle of the same level. Looking at your cultivation technique, you must be from the Cloud Emperor Mountain. Hee hee, The Cloud Emperor Mountain is nothing more than this. The young man in purple sneered and didn't continue to attack. He returned to the noble young man's side, and the 18 different emperor's spiritual weapons flew into his body and disappeared. Yun Zai's expression was a little ugly, but the 10,000 soldiers scroll cultivated by the Wan family was really powerful. There are so many geniuses here. Are these all geniuses from emperor-ranked powers? Lu Ming had a thought in his mind. He had only been in the 100-clan battlefield for a short time. Before, he had met the geniuses of the 1,000 Kills Prefecture, and now he had met the people of the Wan family. They were all geniuses with superior earth spiritual bodies, and their cultivation methods and combat skills were all stronger than the last. If these geniuses were placed in Songzhou, they would all have the chance to compete for the top 10 geniuses. This made his blood boil. Only in such an environment would he be able to improve faster. At this time, the noble young man in the middle looked at the body of the assassin from the 1,000-kill mansion. His eyes flickered and he said in surprise, "Were you the ones who killed the assassins of the 1,000-kill mansion?" Although he used the word you, his eyes were on Yunxi. In his opinion, only Yunzai's strength was worth mentioning. The others were not worth mentioning. Among them, there was actually a 6th-level martial emperor. He really didn't know what was good for him. "I didn't kill him." Yunxi shook her head. "Not you." The honorable young man was slightly stunned. "It's him, he killed her." At this moment, Yun Kai pointed at Lu Ming and shouted. The distinguished young man was stunned. He turned to look at Lu Ming and asked in surprise, "It's you? How could a mere LV6 martial emperor kill an assassin of the 1,000-kill mansion?" Interesting. It's indeed interesting that a LV6 martial royal realm expert can kill an assassin of the 1,000-kills mansion. "Young master, let me test him and see what he's capable of," another young man in purple said. "N." The young man nodded. The young man in purple stepped forward, and a powerful aura burst out. Peak LV8 martial royal realm. This young man in purple was slightly weaker than the one who had fought with Yunxi. "Kid, come up and fight me. I want to see what kind of special ability you have." The young man in purple looked at Lu Ming. Lu Ming stepped into the air, his body exuding a powerful fighting spirit. He wanted to see how powerful the secret skill of the Wan family was. "Could you go first? Use your full strength at the end. Otherwise, you won't have a chance," the young man in purple said indifferently, revealing a look of contempt. He did not care about a 6th-level martial emperor at all. He was just curious about how Lu Ming could kill the assassins of the 1,000-kills mansion. Otherwise, with his cultivation, he would not have challenged a 6th-level martial emperor at all, because it would not be effective for him to train. Boom. Lu Ming could not be bothered to waste his breath. Since the other party had asked him to make the first move, he made his move immediately. He used the prison suppressing heaven technique and threw a punch at the youth in purple. The air trembled, and the terrifying fist force pressed down on the air, forming a terrifying air wave that surged toward the other party. The young man in purple's expression changed. The power of Lu Ming's punch had completely exceeded his imagination. A light spot appeared between his eyebrows and a huge axe flew out. He swung the axe at Lu Ming. Clang! The fist and the axe collided. The young man in purple trembled and took a few steps back. "So this is all you've got?" Lu Ming said indifferently. "You're looking for death." The young man in purple roared and 6 spots on his body lit up. 6 spirit weapons of different colors appeared. Chapter 1593. 1593. Leaving alone, more light spots lit up in his body. This time, there were 10 light spots and 10 king spiritual weapons. The 17 emperor spiritual weapons floated in the air, and the battle weapon chi was extremely dense. It gathered on the battle axe, making the purple shirt young man's momentum extremely strong. "Kill, kill, kill." The young man in purple shouted, his eyes filled with cold, killing intent. He wanted to kill Lu Ming to save his face. He took a step forward, and his spirit weapons circled around him. He swung his giant axe as if he could split the sky. "You want to kill me?" A sharp glint flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. More essential core surged into the flowing essence gloves. The flowing essence gloves glowed like a small sun. Boom. A single punch could crush everything. Thump, thump, thump. Lu Ming and the other party exchanged 3 moves in a row. After each move, the other party had to take 3 steps back. After 3 moves, the other party retreated 9 steps. Kill! Then Lu Ming shouted and the power of the divine sword technique exploded. Lu Ming's eyes lit up and 2 black swords shot out of his eyes and into the body of the young man in purple. The other party's body trembled, and his eyes lost focus for a moment. Boom. At this moment, Lu Ming threw another punch. This punch was as destructive as crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. At the critical moment, although the other party used his battle axe to block, the strength he could muster was limited. Lu Ming's punch sent his battle axe flying. He retreated rapidly and spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Buzz! Lu Ming strode forward, wanting to defeat his opponent in one fell swoop. Enough! The noble youth frowned and stepped forward with a cold light in his eyes. Boom! This step seemed to shake the earth and the sky. A terrifying force rushed towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming's expression changed and he threw a punch, but it was useless. It could not break through the force. When the force surged over, Lu Ming's body slid back for thousands of meters. What's wrong? A tag team battle? If one doesn't work, then 2? Lu Ming sneered. A tag team battle? Hee hee, what a joke. The noble young man stood in the void with his hands behind his back. A terrifying pressure emanated from his body and pressed toward Lu Ming like a divine weapon that was about to break the sky and cut the world. Lu Ming covered his entire body with the chaos domain and resisted the pressure with all his might. Your combat strength is not bad, but you're only at the 6th level of the martial royal realm. You're not worthy to fight me, the distinguished young man said indifferently. His tone was filled with confidence and contempt for Lu Ming. Lu Ming was not worthy to fight with him. The honorable young man then looked at the young man who was injured by Lu Ming and said, "In the future, cultivate well and strive to break through. The next time you see this person, you will kill him with your own hands, understand?" "Understood, young master." The young man in purple bowed in response, his eyes filled with cold, killing intent as he looked at Lu Ming. "Let's go." The noble young man retracted his aura and left. Yes, as he had said, Lu Ming's cultivation level was too low and he was not worthy of fighting with him. He was not even interested in fighting. In the blink of an eye, the noble young man and the 2 young men in purple disappeared from everyone's sight. At that moment, Yun Kai, Yun Feng, and the others looked at Lu Ming with fear in their eyes. Lu Ming could actually defeat the 8th level martial royal realm genius of the Wan family. His combat strength had exceeded their expectations. For example, Yun Kai, whose cultivation was at the peak of the 8th level martial royal realm, believed that he would not be able to defeat the geniuses of the Wan family who were at the same level as him. However, Lu Ming was able to defeat him, which meant that Lu Ming's combat strength was above his. Yun Shi looked at Lu Ming with a complicated gaze. In a battle of the same level, he was no match for the Wan family's geniuses, but Lu Ming could cross 2 levels and defeat the Wan family's geniuses. His combat strength was truly unbelievable. Farewell. At this moment, Lu Ming looked at Yun Shi and cupped his fists slightly, planning to leave alone. It was more convenient for him to act alone. Lu Ming, the 1,000-kill mansion was created by the 1,000-kill martial emperor. It's extremely powerful and has many experts. There'll definitely be a lot of people from the 1,000-kill mansion in the 100-clan battlefield. You have to be careful. In the end, Yun Shi could not bear it and reminded Lu Ming. "Many thanks, I will be careful." Lu Ming said. "Lu Ming, there are cities built by the locals in the 100-clan battlefield. If you enter the city, the people from the 1,000-kill mansion will be more or less apprehensive and won't dare to go too far." Yun Shi reminded him. Lu Ming nodded. Not all of the 100-clan battlefield was filled with outsiders like them. There were some natives. In reality, the natives weren't pure natives. They were all people who had entered the 100-clan battlefield in the distant past. Some of them had stayed there forever and had never left. They had taken root in the 100-clan battlefield and reproduced. As time passed, more and more people arrived at the 100-clan battlefield. These people were called the natives. Moreover, the natives had grown up in the 100-clan battlefield. They were used to the chaotic laws in the world and could adapt to them. Therefore, some of the talented natives could break through to the Saint Realm in the 100-clan battlefield without dying or going crazy because of the chaotic laws. However, the 100-clan battlefield was very restrictive. That was why the strongest of the natives could only reach the Bright Saint Realm. It was almost impossible for them to reach the Supreme Saint Realm. These native saints would build cities and forces in the 100-clan battlefield. In these cities, it was forbidden to fight and kill. Therefore, if they violated this rule, the saints of the local people might kill them. Therefore, although there were no rules in the 100-clan battlefield, there were still some rules in the cities. Of course, things weren't absolute. If one was strong enough, they could kill someone in the city and then escape quickly. Even the saints couldn't do anything. However, at least it was much safer than outside the city. That was why Yunshi suggested that Lu Ming go to the city. Lu Ming did not say much. He turned and stepped into the air, disappearing from the place in the blink of an eye. Humph, with the mark of slaughter on his body, he will never be able to get to the nearest city. He will definitely be found and killed by the 1,000 Kills Prefecture. Yun Kai sneered. Yunshi glanced at Yun Kai with some disgust, then turned around and left. And NBSP hoo-hoo. Lu Ming controlled the black wings and flew forward at an extremely fast speed. Soon, they had flown tens of thousands of miles. The 100-clan battlefield has gathered many sovereign-level forces prodigies. Almost all of them have superior-grade Earth spiritual bodies. In the depths of the 100-clan battlefield, there are even prodigies who have heaven's spiritual bodies. There are too many prodigies. My cultivation is too weak. I must break through as soon as possible. Lu Ming had many thoughts in his mind. Lu Ming's weakness had always been his cultivation level. He came from a remote island and the cultivation environment in the past was not good. Compared to the geniuses of the Yuanlu continent, his cultivation level was much weaker. He had comprehended the primal chaos domain. He was not afraid of anyone at the same level. It's time to find a place to break through. Lu Ming swept his gaze around. After flying for another tens of thousands of miles, Lu Ming flew towards a mountain. Then, the chaos domain transformed into the earth domain. Lu Ming rushed into the mountain directly, as if he was using an underground escape technique. However, there was no change on the surface of the mountain. After entering the center of the mountain, Lu Ming opened up a simple cave abode in the middle of the mountain and entered the mountain and river diagram. The monster spoke in the human language. It roared and pounced at Lu Ming again. LV6 Martial Emperor Realm, die. Lu Ming threw a punch and the power of the prison-suppressing heavenly art was unleashed. Bang! This monster, which was equivalent to a 6th-level martial emperor, was directly hit by Lu Ming's punch and its body exploded. However, the monster was not made of flesh and blood. After its body exploded, it turned into a cloud of demonic chi, rolling in the air and then condensing into the monster again. It roared and charged at Lu Ming. If it's completely condensed from demonic chi, then it'll obliterate your demonic chi. Lu Ming immediately activated his chaos domain and blasted it out. The monster's body was once again shattered and turned into billowing demonic chi. However, in the next moment, the demonic chi condensed again and turned into a monster. Its aura was only slightly weakened. What kind of monster is this? Even the Chaos Realm can only obliterate it a little. It can't be killed. Lu Ming revealed a look of surprise. Following that, Lu Ming attacked a few times in a row. Each time, the monster would explode. However, every time, the monster would turn into demonic chi and then condense again. It seemed to be completely immortal. Just like the human-shaped demonic creature, demonic chi rolled and the giant tiger's body reappeared. As expected. With a quick glance just now, Lu Ming had indeed seen a crystal between the giant tiger's eyebrows. Kill! Lu Ming took a step forward and clawed through the space between the tiger's eyebrows. He took out a piece of crystal. demonic fiend crystal, it really was a demonic fiend crystal. There was also a layer of demonic fire on it, but it was destroyed by Lu Ming. The giant tiger turned into demonic qi and dissipated. This is really a treasure land. Lu Ming was overjoyed. His figure flickered and he began to search for the demonic creature. After traveling for a few miles, another demonic creature appeared. It was a giant wolf, also at the 6th level of the martial royal realm. Lu Ming grabbed the demonic evil crystal between its eyebrows and continued to move forward. Roar! He did not see any demonic creatures for more than 10 miles. However, after that he heard loud roars. A total of 6 demonic creatures pounced at Lu Ming. One of them was at the LV8 martial royal realm, 2 were at the LV7, and the other 3 were at the LV6. The 6 demons attacked at the same time, and their power was astonishing. Lu Ming cast the wind element technique and his body flashed. He killed a 6th-level martial royal realm demonic creature in one move and took out the demonic evil crystal. At the same time, he flapped his black wings and scattered the rest of them into demonic qi. However, the next moment, they immediately condensed again. Lu Ming continued to attack. He grabbed the demonic evil crystals of the other 2 LV6 martial royal realm demonic creatures and kept them in the mountain and river diagram. Then, it pounced on a 7th-level martial royal realm demonic creature and clawed at it. The demonic creature roared and twisted its head to avoid Lu Ming's attack. Lu Ming's claw landed on its body, causing it to explode. However, it immediately reappeared. "You're quite smart." Lu Ming mumbled and continued to grab the other 2 demons. The 2 demonic creatures were very smart. They protected their heads well and did not let Lu Ming catch them. As for their bodies, they allowed Lu Ming to attack them as he pleased. This kind of demonic creature was even more difficult to deal with than warriors of the same level. They only needed to protect their heads and attack the other parts of their bodies crazily. If not for Lu Ming's powerful combat strength, they would have been in trouble. 9 seals of the divine gate, let's see how you can dodge. Lu Ming formed a seal with both hands and 7 sealing doors appeared in the sky. Now, Lu Ming could already condense 7 sealing gates. The 7 sealing gates emitted a brilliant light and instantly locked the 3 demons in place. Lu Ming's figure flashed and he instantly grabbed the demonic fiend crystals of the 3 demons. Then, in a flash, 7 demonic fiend crystals appeared in Lu Ming's hands. It's that easy? Yun Shi, Yun Kai, and the others were dumbfounded. Yun Kai, in particular, revealed a look of jealousy. Roar! More demons charged at Lu Ming. Lu Ming condensed the sealing door again. This time, bubbles assisted him. A large number of demons were fixed in place and could not move. Lu Ming looked as if he was taking a stroll in the courtyard, as if he was picking fruits from his backyard. He reached out with his claws and took out demonic evil crystals one after another. The demonic creatures turned into demonic qi and dissipated. Then, Lu Ming rushed to the demons that were besieging Yun Shi and the others. He used the same old plan again. Not long after, more than 100 demons turned into demonic qi and dissipated. The demonic evil crystals all entered Lu Ming's mountain and river diagram. This, Yun Shi and the others were stunned. Detestable! Yun Kai's eyes were filled with flames of jealousy. It was not easy for them to obtain a single demonic fiend crystal, but Lu Ming had easily obtained more than 100 of them. His speed was many times faster than theirs. Lu Ming were the ones who lured these demonic creatures here. It's too unkind of you to attack them halfway. Aren't you going to give us some demonic fiend crystals? Yun Kai's eyes turned and he sneered. You lured him here? What a joke. This area is full of demonic creatures. How could you say that you attracted them here? I even saved you, but you don't even thank me for saving you, and you want me to share the demonic evil crystals with you? You are really thick-skinned. Lu Ming sneered. Umph. Yun Kai snorted coldly, his expression somewhat unsightly. Then his eyes flickered, and he revealed a fake smile. Lu Ming, you came in from the Cloud Emperor Mountain and are part of our team. How about you return to the team now? We'll get the crystals together and then split them equally, how about it? Lu Ming sneered and looked at Yun Kai as if he was an idiot. This Yun Kai was not only thick-skinned, he was also shameless. Previously, he was afraid of being hunted down by the Thousand Kills house and chased Lu Ming away. Now, after seeing Lu Ming's amazing efficiency in snatching the demonic evil crystals, he wanted Lu Ming to return to the team. He even proposed to split the demonic evil crystals equally. How ridiculous was that? A mocking smile hung on the corner of Lu Ming's lips. Sure, but after we get out of this place, we'll still be a team and we'll have to explore together. How about it? This, Yun Kai immediately stiffened. What a joke. After they left this place, Lu Ming would continue to stay with them. If the assassins from the Thousand Kill Mansion came, they would have to die with Lu Ming. How could that be? Yun Kai's eyes turned again. All right, sure. Although he said that, he was thinking that he should calm Lu Ming down first. Chapter 1597. 1597 Chapter 1597 Thunderous Methods. Lu Ming cooperated with the bubbles and harvested the demonic fiend crystals from the demonic creatures wantonly. Yun Kai's eyes turned red with jealousy. He roared in anger and wanted to get the demonic fiend crystals as well. However, after fighting with a demonic creature for a long time, he only managed to get one. On the other hand, Lu Ming had nearly 100 demonic fiend crystals in his account. There were more than 100 monsters running out of the canyon, but only a dozen were left. At this moment, a few young men flew over from the sky. As soon as the few young men arrived, their eyes were immediately attracted to Lu Ming. At that moment, Lu Ming was casting the 9 seals of the Gate of God. 7 gates of sealing sealed 7 demons and seized 7 demonic fiend crystals. What a powerful sealing technique! One of the young men's eyes lit up. At this moment, Lu Ming also noticed that the few youths in the sky had cast the Gate of Seal again to seal the remaining demons and seize the demonic fiend crystals. Then, he moved his body and was about to leave the place. However, in the sky, the few young men's figures flashed and surrounded Lu Ming. What business do you have here? Lu Ming asked coldly. It's nothing. We saw that your sealing technique was not bad, so we wanted to cooperate with you. One of the short-haired young men said with a faint smile. The aura of a 9th-level martial royal realm expert was released from his body and locked onto Lu Ming. Cooperation? I'm not interested, I prefer to be alone. Lu Ming rejected him directly. After being rejected by Lu Ming, the short-haired teenager's face turned cold. He said in a threatening tone, "Brat, you're only at the 7th level of the martial royal realm. You'd better see the situation clearly." As soon as he finished speaking, the aura on his body grew stronger, forming a terrifying pressure that pressed down on Lu Ming. The threat was self-evident. At the same time, the other 3 young men also released their auras and pressed toward Lu Ming. 1 peak LV9 Martial Royal Realm and 2 peak LV8 Martial Royal Realm experts. The 4 experts surrounded Lu Ming with gloomy eyes. Not far away, Yun Kai was gloating. Who told this brat to be so arrogant? Let's see how he dies now. Yun Shi, this has nothing to do with us, so you'd better not interfere. Yun Kai sneered and reminded Yun Shi not to make a move. Yun Shi frowned. However, the other party had 2 people in the 9th level of the martial royal realm. Even if she wanted to help, she was afraid that she would be powerless. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. He looked around and spat out a word coldly, "Get lost." His words made the 4 young men's faces sink. "Brat, if it wasn't for the fact that you have some value, I would have slapped you to death right now. Now, I'll give you 2 options. The first is to hand over the demonic evil crystals you have, and then obediently follow us and help us hunt for demonic evil crystals. The second option is death. Which one do you choose?" The short-haired teenager said coldly. "I'll choose the other 2 paths." Lu Ming said. "Which 2? The short-haired teenager was stunned and asked subconsciously. "The first condition is for you to get lost immediately. The second condition is for you to die." Lu Ming said. The 4 young men were stunned. "Brat, you dare to play with us? You're looking for death." The short-haired teenager's eyes were filled with cold, killing intent. A lightning sword appeared in his hand and he slashed it at Lu Ming. Kill! Lu Ming shouted and activated his divine sword technique, attacking the other party's soul. The short-haired teenager's sword stopped halfway and he roared. Lu Ming held the black dragon spear and pierced through the short-haired man, nailing him to the ground. Since he was going to make a move, Lu Ming would not show any mercy. A young man in purple berated. "All right, I'll pay," Lu Ming said. With that, a storage ring appeared in Lu Ming's hand and he threw it at the distinguished young man. The distinguished young man subconsciously blocked it. At this moment, Lu Ming made his move. He charged at the youth in purple, who was at the peak of LV8 Martial Emperor realm. He activated his prison-suppressing heaven technique and punched him. "You!" The young man did not expect Lu Ming to suddenly attack him. He roared and resisted with all his might. However, in his haste, he could only use less than half of his strength. How could he block Lu Ming? Lu Ming's fist force pressed down and the young man in purple was torn to pieces. "How dare you! You're looking for death!" At this moment, the noble young man finally reacted. He let out a loud roar, and a terrifying chi of a combat weapon emanated from his body. He swung his palm at Lu Ming with terrifying power. Chapter 1599. 1599 The Three Stages of a Half-Saint Buzz. The pagoda above Lu Ming's head exuded a mysterious wave. Bubbles made her move. She wrapped Lu Ming in the space-time domain. Lu Ming's figure flashed and he dodged the noble young man's attack. At this moment, the distinguished young man scanned the storage ring that Lu Ming threw to him with his spiritual sense and found that it was empty. He knew that Lu Ming had fooled him. Die! A light spot lit up in the palm of the noble young man. A combat sword flew out and slashed at Lu Ming. The power of the sword was extremely terrifying. Facing this sword, Lu Ming only had one thought, and that was that he could not be defeated. This noble young man was definitely a half-saint, and an extremely terrifying one at that. Buzz! The black wings appeared and flashed rapidly. Lu Ming rushed to the right with a swish, avoiding the sword light of the noble youth. "You can't escape." The noble young man's eyes were as cold as a knife. Lu Ming, a mere 7th-level martial emperor, had dared to trick him and even killed a member of the Wan family in front of him. In his heart, he had already sentenced Lu Ming to death. His body seemed to have turned into a divine weapon as he chased after Lu Ming. Buzz! At this moment, the pagoda above Lu Ming's head emitted a mysterious fluctuation and a space-time tunnel was formed. This space-time tunnel did not lead to the front, but to the back where another purple-robed youth was. Lu Ming took a step in and appeared not far away from another young man in purple. "Kill! Die!" Lu Ming shouted. The divine sword technique burst out and rushed into the other party's soul. The other party screamed in pain. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Lu Ming rushed over and killed the purple-robed young man with a punch. He then seized the other party's storage ring. Since there was already enmity between them, Lu Ming would not show any mercy. "You're looking for death." Seeing that Lu Ming had killed another purple-shirt young man, the distinguished young man was furious and his killing intent was extremely strong. All of a sudden, 8 light spots lit up on his body. 8 weapons flew out from the 8 light spots, and the terrifying battle weapon chi wreaked havoc in the air. Holy weapons, all of them were holy weapons. In addition to the sword, all 9 weapons were holy weapons. The fusion of the 9 holy weapons battle weapon chis was unimaginably powerful. Lu Ming's body was covered in cold air as he felt a fatal threat. "Bubble, let's go!" Lu Ming's black wings flickered as he retreated frantically. Then, Bubbles made a move and a space-time tunnel was formed. Lu Ming rushed in directly. "Stay here and kill!" The noble youth roared as he slashed his sword, causing terrifying ripples to appear in the air. Boom! The terrifying sword radiance slashed at the space-time tunnel, destroying the space-time and everything. The space-time tunnel trembled violently and then collapsed. Lu Ming was blasted out of the space-time tunnel just as he was halfway through the journey. What terrifying battle power! He can even destroy the space-time tunnel. "Let's go!" Lu Ming cast the wind elemental art. Energy kept flowing into the air-frozen bead. His black wings flapped wildly. Lu Ming turned into a stream of light and flew forward at top speed. Buzz! Behind him, his saint weapon trembled. The noble youth turned into a sword light, chasing after Lu Ming at an extreme speed. He was so fast that he surpassed Lu Ming's speed, and the distance between the two of them was rapidly closing. What an amazing speed! They'll take you to a place then. There was a cold glint in Lu Ming's eyes. He slowly changed his direction and flew towards a mountain. The young man chased after him, and in the blink of an eye, he had crossed a long distance. The distance between Lu Ming and the distinguished young man was getting closer and closer. "You will die today." The noble youth's cold voice came from behind. "You sound very confident, but how did I kill your two subordinates?" Lu Ming's mocking voice was heard, causing the noble youth's killing intent to grow even stronger. Roar! A terrifying roar came from the front, and demonic chi soared into the sky. "We're here!" Lu Ming's eyes lit up. When he had been hunting demonic creatures, he had passed by this place and found that there were terrible demonic creatures gathering here. He had seen a few of them at random, and they were all at the half-saint level, so he had bypassed them. Now, he could use these demonic creatures to stop the noble young man. Buzz! Lu Ming flew straight towards the source of the roar. In the next moment, a huge valley appeared before his eyes. In the valley, many terrifying demonic creatures were wandering around, roaring from time to time. Their power was shocking, and there was a faint saint might permeating the air. At a glance, there were at least a dozen demons, all of which were at the half-saint level. Lu Ming dashed into the valley without any hesitation. Roar! At once, the demonic creatures went berserk. Demonic chi surged and they roared like thunder as they charged at Lu Ming. Bang! A demonic creature that looked like a giant wolf smacked Lu Ming with its claws. Lu Ming's body shattered like glass. It was a shadow, but Lu Ming's body had already appeared on the other side. The bubble wrapped Lu Ming in the space-time domain. Lu Ming's body flashed rapidly as if he was shuttling through space-time. He avoided the attacks of the half-saint demons and continued to venture deeper into the valley. "You think you can stop me with these demons? Ridiculous, kill." The noble young man's cold voice sounded, and he also rushed into the valley. His 9 saint weapons circled around him, and a terrible chi of battle weapons gathered. A sword light cut through, and a half-saint demonic creature's body was directly blown apart, turning into a rolling mass of demonic chi. Then, the noble young man punched with his other hand. The honorable young man's fist seemed to have turned into a divine weapon that could break anything. Boom! A half-saint demonic creature was smashed by a punch. He reached out and grabbed a demonic evil crystal. What powerful strength! Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. The noble young man's strength was beyond his imagination. They were all half-saints, but the demons were killed by the noble young man in one move. The noble young man's every move contained the power of the laws. It was obvious that he had already comprehended the laws. There were strong and weak half-saints. Half-saints were divided into 3 stages according to their realms. In the first stage, one would comprehend the ultimate domain and become a half-saint. The domain above the 9th level was the ultimate domain. As long as one comprehended the ultimate domain, they would be a half-saint. Then, are there any dragon bones here? Suddenly, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. The dragon clan was most likely involved in the 100-tribe war. If he could find some dragon bones, his dragon god combat body would be able to evolve. If he could break through the category of an earth spiritual body and evolve into a low-grade heaven spiritual body, Lu Ming's strength would skyrocket. Let's look for it. Lu Ming was suddenly in high spirits. Although the spiritual essence of the bone armor had been severely lost, as long as there was enough of it, it could still allow Lu Ming's dragon divine combat body to evolve. Lu Ming continued to venture deeper and finally entered a huge plot of land. It was covered with all kinds of bone banners. He could not see the end of it. It was as if he had come to a world of bones. Chapter 1603, 1603 Fighting a Half-Saint, Do It. The black dragon spear appeared in Lu Ming's hands. He spread his black wings and his eyes were filled with a strong desire to fight. From the aura of the two assassins, it was obvious that they were first-stage half-saints who had mastered the ultimate domain. Lu Ming's spirit body had just completed its evolution and became a low-grade celestial spirit body. He wanted to test his combat power. Before the spirit body evolved, Lu Ming was confident that he could fight against an ordinary first-stage half-saint. What was an ordinary first-stage half-saint? They were existences who broke through to the half-saint realm with ordinary spiritual bodies or low-grade spiritual bodies. However, the two people in front of him were obviously high-grade spiritual bodies. Their combat strength was by no means comparable to ordinary half-saints. There's no need for two people to join forces to kill a LV7 Martial Royal Realm expert like you. I can do it alone. One of the men in black stepped out. In his hand, a long sword as thin as a cicada's wing was faintly visible. The other person stood still in the air. Buzz. The black-robed man in front of him moved. With a single move, his figure disappeared into the air without a trace. All of a sudden, there was a slight sound of the air being torn behind Lu Ming. A sharp sword radiance was aimed at the back of Lu Ming's heart. He was so fast. The other party had just moved and he had already appeared behind Lu Ming. Such a terrifying assassination technique was truly shocking. Buzz. The black dragon spear shook and swept behind him. However, when the black dragon spear swept past, the sharp intent disappeared. In the next moment, another sharp intent appeared in front of Lu Ming. The terrifying sword chi had yet to reach Lu Ming, but it seemed as if it was going to tear him apart. Buzz. Lu Ming controlled the black wings and slashed forward like a heavenly blade. But just like before, the black wings slashed through the air, and the other party had already disappeared. The other party's speed was too fast. When he attacked, he was as fast as lightning. He could attack Lu Ming from all directions at any time. Bush, bush. The sound of air being torn suddenly rang out continuously, as if it was attacking Lu Ming from all directions. For a moment, Lu Ming did not know which side was real and which side was fake. Sweep! Lu Ming used the most domineering method and swept the black dragon spear in all directions. However, there was no one in sight. The assassination techniques of the 1,000-kill mansion are indeed amazing. The body can be hidden, but the soul can't. Lu Ming muttered. He then closed his eyes and released his spiritual consciousness to sense the other party's soul fluctuations. Over there! All of a sudden, Lu Ming felt an obscure soul fluctuation. Without any hesitation, he became one with his spear and stabbed in that direction. Clang! The sound of metal clashing rang out. A black figure appeared and floated back in the void. You're only at LV7 Martial Emperor Realm, but your soul power is very strong. You can actually find my location through soul fluctuations. The man in black said, looking a little surprised. Your concealment technique is useless against me. Lu Ming said. That was just a test. Since the art of concealment is useless against you, it'll kill you head-on. The man in black sneered, and the killing intent on his body became stronger. Buzz. The man in black moved and pounced at Lu Ming. He was as fast as a black stream of light, leaving behind a series of afterimages. The terrifying sword chi cut through the void and stabbed at Lu Ming. If concealment didn't work, he would directly attack. Lu Ming was not afraid at all. A dragon's roar sounded from his body as he stabbed with the long spear in his hand. Clang! The long spear and the long sword clashed. Lu Ming's cultivation was at the peak of the 7th level martial royal realm, while the other party's cultivation was at the first stage of half-saint. The gap between the peak of the 9th level martial emperor realm and the half-saint realm was not as simple as one level. Therefore, the gap between the first stage half-saint and the 7th level martial emperor realm was too big. If it was an ordinary half-saint, Lu Ming could naturally surpass it. However, the other party was also a prodigy with an upper-class earth spiritual body. After exchanging hundreds of moves, Lu Ming was actually at a slight disadvantage. Not enough, far from enough. Lu Ming kept growling in his heart. If he wanted to stimulate all his potential in a life-and-death battle, this kind of pressure was far from enough for him. He needed the pressure of near-death to stimulate his potential and break through quickly. Is this all you've got? And you still dare to boast shamelessly about killing me? How laughable. You two come at me together. Lu Ming let out a long howl, his fighting spirit growing stronger. How is that possible? The man in black found it hard to believe. As a half-saint, he could not even kill a LV7 martial royal realm expert. Even if he had the heavenly spiritual body, his combat strength couldn't be so strong that he could cross so many realms and fight with him. He had seen a heavenly spiritual body before. There were more than one heavenly spiritual body in the 1,000-kill mansion. They were definitely not this strong. Chapter 1605 Cultivating the 10,000 Soldiers Art Boom. The Chaos Sky-Turning Seal, which was like a mountain peak, pressed down on the other party. No! The assassin in black roared and tried his best to resist, but it was useless. Under the pressure of the giant seal, the assassin's body cracked and his soul was destroyed. The other assassin's expression changed drastically. He wanted to escape, but he couldn't. The Tai Chi formation disc was a treasure on the same level as monarch weapons. It contained a terrifying heaven and earth formation that could be used to refine the second body. The longer he used it, the more he studied it, and the more power he could unleash. The assassin in black couldn't even protect himself in the Tai Chi formation disc. He was already injured, so how could he break out? After Lu Ming killed one of the assassins in black, he walked toward the remaining assassin. Boom! With the primal chaos sky-turning seal launched, the result was already without suspense. My 1,000 kills mansion will never let you go. Before the assassin died, he let out an unwilling roar. Then, under the chaos sky-turning seal, his body and soul were destroyed. With a wave of his hand, the two assassins' storage rings were caught in Lu Ming's hands. Now that my chaos domain has broken through to level 8, I can find a place to cultivate and raise my cultivation to the LV8 Martial Emperor realm. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. With a flick of his fingers, 2 balls of flames flew out and burned the 2 assassins' corpses into ashes. Then he spread his black wings and rushed out of the crack. After flying for a while, Lu Ming rushed into a huge mountain and entered the mountain and river diagram. He took out a large pile of raw gemstones and started to devour and refine them to improve his cultivation. After a few days, Lu Ming's cultivation had successfully broken through and entered the early stage of the LV8 Martial Royal Realm. Let's see if there's anything good in these guys' storage rings. Lu Ming took out a few storage rings. Some belonged to the young man in purple from the Wan family, and some belonged to the assassins from the 1,000-kill mansion. Lu Ming first looked at the storage ring of the assassin from the 1,000 kills mansion. There are so many treasures. It's a pity that I don't have the cultivation method of the 1,000-kill mansion. After Lu Ming counted the items, he was a little excited but also a little regretful. There were too many treasures in the storage rings of the assassins from the 1,000-kill mansion. There were more than 15 saint weapons in the storage rings of the 2 half-saint assassins. It was even more than the holy weapons that Lu Ming and the others had obtained from the Dragon Palace's treasury. However, thinking about it, it was normal. These 2 assassins from the 1,000-kill mansion had killed countless geniuses in the 100-clan battlefield. Generally, Those who entered the 100-clan battlefield were geniuses from various emperor-ranked forces. Each of them had more or less a saint weapon. It was not surprising that the two assassins had so many saint weapons in their storage rings. However, Lu Ming was very interested in the cultivation method of the 1,000-kill mansion. That kind of assassination technique was extremely shocking. It could kill people in an instant and was impossible to guard against. It was a pity that he did not see it. Then, Lu Ming took out the storage ring of the young man in purple from the Wan family. The young man in purple from the Wan family also had 2 holy weapons in his storage ring. Of course, what attracted Lu Ming the most was a box with a jade tablet inside. The 10,000 soldiers' art. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. The WN family's cultivation method was even more wondrous. They could actually seal spirit weapons and saint weapons within their bodies.